My favorite scary word is motherfucker. I think mostly because women use it more. And when a woman is really angry, it can be a terrifying thing. I absolutely prefer Sherlock to Miss Marple. You know, with Sherlock you get people who don't always deserve to die. Miss Marple, generally it's someone who's a really bad character and you can't feel too sorry for them. And I love the idea of using your brain to solve a crime as opposed to just falling into it. I have a lot of favorite crime and thriller authors. I guess the top of the list would be some good friends of mine, Denise Mine and Mo Hader. They're fantastic writers. I love Lee Child, Mark Billingham, Mike Connolly. The list goes on. We're living in a great time for crime fiction. The last book I read and really loved was one called Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. And it's set in Iceland at the turn of the last century, and it was such a foreign landscape to me, and the characters were so fascinating. You know, you think you'd want a good car chase in there, but it was actually an amazingly well-told story. My favorite detective in literature is kind of hard to pin down. I mean, we all love Sherlock Holmes. There are just so many great detectives. So you think about Harry Bosch, or characters who aren't actually detectives but act like them, like Jack Reacher. Again, there are just so many to choose from. I think one of the most common questions I get is where my writing is influenced from, and I have to say country music songs, because they have great lines about heartbreak and murder and that sort of thing. But there are some true crimes out there that I'm interested in, and it's really important, I think, for crime writers to remember that these are crimes that happen to real people. And so I don't take them completely and put them into the books, but I might take a little bit of this or a bit of that from a different crime and put it in the story. If I could write any crime novel, or have written any crime novel, I don't think I'd want to do that because I would ruin it. You know, the thing that makes a crime novel so great is the author. At least I hope that's how people feel about my books. And if I think, well, gosh, if I had written The Treatment, or if I had written, you know, some of my favorite books, I wouldn't be able to enjoy them. And I think that's the true pleasure of being a crime reader, is discovering someone new and loving the story. And I have my own stories to tell, so I want to be a reader sometimes and just enjoy others. A long time ago, I read an interview where Ruth Rendell was asked what she was most afraid of, and she said she wasn't going to answer because if she said dogs at her next event, the people would bring dogs and think it was very funny. So I never answer that question. If I had to make something up, I would probably say chocolate, and that way people will bring me chocolate. If I could have dinner with any fictional character, I would probably choose Scarlett O'Hara. I think she'd be a fascinating woman to get to know. Would she tell me the truth about herself? Maybe not, but it would be fun just trying to figure out what she was really saying between the lines. Probably in America, the greatest unsolved mystery, other than the Kennedy assassination, of course, to me would be Lizzie Borden, who was accused of killing her stepmother and her father with an axe. And it was considered the trial of the century at the time. And I would love to know the truth behind that.